here. Georgie does all the hazardous duty in the Penn and Teller show. Watch the saw blade there, please. Now, after putting her in a cheap plywood box and filling her beautiful legs with splinters, we then add insult to injury and put these stalks around her here. Your hair out of your face there. Watch your shoulder there. This is the only trick in the Penn and Teller show that is right off the rack. You can buy this whole setup just like this from a magic dealer. The one change we made is the saw blade. The one that comes with it is really fake, cheap aluminum. We put kind of a nice, heavy steel blade in there. And you all set, Georgie? Hey, give me a hand with this teller. It's kind of heavy. And a little bit of acting, Georgie. Screaming, moving your feet, so on. Beautiful, beautiful. And then to show that she really is separated, we then put these blades in. And there you have it, Georgie and Bernasek, a woman sawn into halves right there. Now when you see real magicians do this trick, at this point, they start moving really fast. And they put the box back together really quickly, pull out the blades, have her stand up and get her off stage as quickly as they can. And the reason they hurry so is that magicians worry that this moment is the most vulnerable part of the whole trick. And they worry that if they let an audience stare at this moment for too long, they'll figure out how the trick is being done. We're okay with that. And the first thing you realize is based on a pretty flimsy psychological principle. You're not supposed to notice a change in height when someone goes from vertical to horizontal. Now, Georgie's a rather special case. Georgie's almost 6'3", so bring her on my side of the stage. I'm 6'7". You're not supposed to notice when she lay down, she shrunk right up to 5'10". But once you notice that, you start to realize that the tabletop is not as thin as you first thought. The trim is thin, but the black goes back in a wedge. And by the time it's under the box, it has plenty of depth to conceal that part of Georgie that's no longer accounted for.
But this hardly squares with what yogis are supposed to have been doing for centuries, and what this Indian appears to be doing today. As a young man many years ago, Indian psychic investigator Premanand set out to learn the secrets of the yogis.
According to yoga, people get 8 special powers. And one of the powers is to levitate in the air.
But that power, he discovered, was not the result of spiritual uplift. As the yogic demonstrator climbs back down to earth, the means of his suspension becomes clear. Concealed beneath his robe, there's a sturdy steel rod which runs down his sleeve to a chair on which he sat. The whole contraption is anchored in the ground.
This rod takes the weight of the person completely. And this is the trick that they have been using all along for hundreds of years.
Here's a classic piece of close-up magic that some street performers present as a brand new miracle. The magician shows us an ordinary slip of white paper. As we can see, it's nothing special. As we can also see, his hands are completely empty. He sets the slip onto the table and picks up a box of kitchen matches. He takes a match. Just one. Closes the box before striking, lights it, and then lights a candle. This is a good time to tell you not to try this at home. Next, he takes the slip of paper and crumples it into a ball. He touches the paper to the flame and, whoa, flares up. But it hasn't burned. He unfolds the paper and it looks different. It's magically transformed into a $100 bill. A little warm, but still cold, hard cash. So how did the magician burn an ordinary piece of paper into a hot 100? Here are the secrets. When the trick begins, the magician shows us an ordinary piece of paper. First off, it's not ordinary, but more on that in a minute. As for the matches, they are ordinary, but the box contains the next secret. With the drawer slit open, there is a space to conceal something in one end, the money that he's about to make appear. See? It's a genuine, slightly crumpled $100 bill. Before the trick begins, the magician crumples the bill into a ball so that it can easily fit inside the end of the matchbox. This way he can show his hands empty at the start of the trick. He slides the drawer out just far enough to allow some room for the bill, which he stuffs inside. There it is. Here's how it works. When he's ready to burn the paper, he takes out a match, slides the drawer back in, and the bill slips into his hand. Here we see how he does it. There's the 100. With the money concealed in his palm, the magician lights the candle and prepares to burn the white slip by crumpling it in his hand. What we don't see is that he's actually crumpling the white paper around the 100. When he burns the white slip, the real bill is inside, ready to appear. But why doesn't the money burn up with the paper? Remember I said it's not ordinary. It's special chemically treated flash paper that burns instantly and creates bright flames. The 100 is unharmed. All the magician has to do is reveal it, and the trick is complete. But the real money is in knowing how it's done. dangerous trick that's not for the faint of heart or stomach. If you have an aversion to the sight of scary tricks, now's the time to look away. Or watch, if you dare. He's about to give himself a trendy body piercing the hard way. By the way, don't try this one at home. With his sleeve rolled up, the magician takes a long, stainless steel needle and jams it through his forearm. It's slow going, but he forces it through the flesh and muscle. I told you this was going to be upsetting, and it's about to get even gorier. The magician begins to withdraw the needle, and sure enough, he lets loose a small gusher of blood. I keep reminding myself that this is just a trick. He'd better pull it out before he gets weak in the knees. I know I am. There it is. He's a braver man than I, and I keep reminding myself that it's just an illusion. So how did the magician thrust the needle through his forearm and draw blood without inflicting serious injury? Rest assured, this is just an illusion, and the blood is all part of the gag. The secret is in this ordinary bottle of rubber cement. Before the trick begins, the magician takes a healthy dose of the clear cement and applies it to his forearm. He's careful to get complete coverage on his skin. When the cement dries, it will be impossible to detect. Now when the magician appears to plunge the needle into his arm, he's merely pressing it against his skin. He struggles a bit to make the illusion more convincing. Once the needle appears to be completely inserted into his arm, he pinches his skin around the steel. The rubber cement causes the skin to stick to itself. The effect is pretty gruesome, but not grisly enough for our masked man. He wants us to see blood. That's where a trick needle comes in handy. It's secretly hollow, and the knob on the end is really a rubber bulb that contains fake stage blood. The magician uses the needle like a turkey baster, squeezing it to suck up the fake blood into the rubber bulb, then squirting it out when the time is right for maximum horror. Squeezing the bulb lightly is enough to force the fake blood out of a tiny hole in the hollow steel tube. All he has to do now is withdraw the needle from the glued folds of his skin, and the ghastly illusion is complete.